Hi.
Welcome back.
We're going to get into Flowers Are Blooming in Antarctica, the second song on La Medicina. I'm Desi.
I'm Keely, aka Dressage.
We're going to dive into this one.
Yeah.
This one's just, I think we just need to listen because this is a crazy song.
Yeah, we also predicted some things in these lyrics as well, accidentally.
Are we witches?
We are.
Probably.
Okay, let's listen.
Billionaires are building bunkers, and I'm 3 months late on rent. Ship a shotgun to your doorstep, 'cause the Bible says you can. And I'm too scared to open Instagram. I'm counting views or traumatized, so I choose dissociation. First person shooter PS5.
I am proud of that one.
It's
for as bad as all the news is, it's such a vibe.
And then you listen to the lyrics and you're like, huh?
Yeah.
Which I love.
Well, and I think this was also one of those that we really were like, let's get these lyrics perfect, because if we're going to go this in, we have to make sure that they're all like, there's no wasted line at all. And so
this took us
originally,
days.
It did, yeah. And originally I remember that pre was miracle superfood
And fashion for single use. Body cam viral views. And an Eras themed voting booth.
I remember it being so like Era's tour was like
Yeah.
the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And
But
now
we wanted the irony of like, of a pop culture icon.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't even think that would actually happen. Like,
Yeah.
how could we know?
with Charlie XCX saying Kamala is Brat
And then we
during
were
like Brat Summer being the whole thing.
yeah.
And yeah, so we tweaked those, because then also, didn't we write the pay for the president?
Before the Elon stuff.
I think it was.
It was.
Was it before he won?
It was
Before
just
the
like a
election?
commentary. Yeah, it was before he won.
And then it was like, oh no.
It was just a commentary on like capitalism and that's something that you can do. And
right.
just,
And then now we look at this cabinet of oligarchs, or like even just like his
oh my God.
section in the in
The inauguration, where it's just like the front row or whatever is just the richest men in America,
And
in the
they
world.
paid for the president, and it's gonna really do well for them.
Oh my God.
Obviously. So let's talk about first like how
this kind of came about.
yeah, like what is the title? Because you came to me, I think you had written the verse, and I think that you had like the title idea for the chorus, but I remember
Yeah, it
we
wasn't
wrote,
fully
like,
done. I had written the verse. It was inspired by Bo Burnham. That Funny Feeling. I remember listening to that song for the first time and I was like, oh my God, this is genius.
Yeah.
Like the lyrics in that song are absolutely brilliant, and I was so inspired by that, and like how it was such a commentary on everything. And I was like, oh, you can do that as an artist. Like, I can do
For sure,
that.
yeah.
So it was inspired by that. And I remember seeing, I don't remember if it was an article or like a video or what it was, but it was just about flowers blooming in Antarctica. And then I also, at the same time on TikTok, saw that it was kind of becoming this like call for revolution. People would comment on like dystopian videos and just be like, flowers are blooming in Antarctica. And it was like this kind of acknowledgement. And I was like, that's a really cool
Yeah.
song title.
Yeah, it's like a wake up.
Yeah.
It's just like a sentence. It's like, wake the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly. And then I loved the dissonance in that, like flowers are blooming in Antarctica. And I just feel like there's so much dissonance in everything in society today. And I was like, I want to write a song about that. So that's where that first line came from. Billionaires are building bunkers and I'm 3 months late on rent. And just like that vast,
Yeah.
huge gap.
Right. That feeling of like billionaires are literally getting spaceships ready to go out of here because they're ruining it.
Yeah. They're destroying our earth.
Well, and
we
it's
all
that
share.
concept of like, we are so much closer to being unhoused than will ever be to being a billionaire. And the way that I think Trump specifically has created this like thing for a lot of people that support him and vote for him, that are like, it's like they aspire to be him, but they will never be him.
No.
Not possible.
I think that so many people don't understand that even if you're a millionaire, even millionaires are closer to being unhoused than they are to being billionaires.
Yeah.
And that's what so many people don't understand. It's so hard to comprehend that number.
Yeah. And it's just such a trick. Like,
Yeah.
people who have that amount of money really have tricked the rest of us into thinking that that is possible.
Yeah.
And that we have more I don't know, there's like, it's better for us to support people who are at that top than like realize how many of us are not there and how much power we have collectively.
Yeah. Just that first line. That first line gets me every time.
So yeah, billionaires are building bunkers and I'm 3 months late on rent. Ship a shotgun to your doorstep because the Bible says you can. I'm too scared to open Instagram, counting views, or traumatized. So I choose Dissociation, first-person shooter, PS5.
That's insane.
That's so silly.
That's so
But
silly.
that's what you do, right? Like you literally will,
I do.
Yeah.
I realized that one day at the same time as I was writing this. It was like later in that day, I was like struggling with everything. And I was like, I need to turn my brain off. And I'd written, ship a shotgun to your doorstep because the Bible says you can. The original lyric after that, we ended up changing it because it was very, very intense.
Yeah.
It was originally, and I'm too scared to open Instagram.
I'm done with watching
children die.
Yeah.
But then we were like, that's...
But also at the same time, it is
So
that thing. It's like you're counting your little grains of rice of
Yeah.
like views and
Yeah.
notoriety and
Mhm.
like worth and stock.
We were like,
price,
this
essentially.
might be a little bit more...
Yeah. Or traumatized, which like it's,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Like we
It's
were just
kind
talking,
of saying something similar.
Yeah. And like earlier we were talking about how, like this plane crash that just happened in DC is really fucking scary. What I've been thinking about is that I just feel like Trump has been using this as an opportunity to blame it on DEI hires, which is insane because he totally just like all of his actions that he just did, like defunded the FAA.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or did something at least that could have been a potential. Notice I'm not even saying that it's his fault, but he of course is like,
He's like, it's
people of
DEI.
color, it's trans, it's gay people.
Did you see they also took out, it's now LGB.
Yeah, I did see
They took out the TQIA.
on the White House. Yeah. So I feel traumatized. I feel so traumatized knowing all this stuff.
Every time I open my phone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, to go back to it, like, I opened my phone, I was really traumatized, and then I was like, I want to dissociate, I don't want to feel anything, and I started playing PlayStation, and I was playing, like, a first-person shooter game. I was playing, like, Last of Us or something, and then I realized I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's also a self-read, because I'm, like, out here, I mean, I think we all have to read ourselves a little bit,
Totally.
like, we still have our issues and whatever, but I just thought that was, like, such a ridiculous thing. I'm, like, fighting against gun violence and like all of these things, and then I'm playing a shooting game. Like that's so crazy.
That's crazy. But I loved that lyric.
Yeah.
All to say.
So that's the verse.
Yeah, billionaires are building bunkers.
That's like a crazy verse. The lyrics are
Right.
insane. And then the
pay for the president, because now even since like the election happened and the inauguration, the amount of Elon Musk in my fucking face has really been a problem for me and my soul because it is just so obvious. Like he paid for the presidency. He paid $200 million or $300 million of his own money.
A crazy amount. Like that shouldn't be legal.
No.
And he is showing it off. And it's not, they're not even trying to hide it anymore.
No, I mean, and even like we're talking about, you know, at inauguration, all the tech oligarchs just there. And then like that fucking weird moment with TikTok coming back and thanking Trump. Like, what are we in the Hunger Games?
Can we talk about that? Because they were like, thank you, President Trump, before he had presidential power.
Right.
You think we weren't going to notice that? And then we come back and all of our algorithms are changed. I have people telling me that they're like unfollowing me. They've had to like refollow me multiple times. And that my stuff's getting censored, which I've always been censored to a certain degree because of what I speak about and being a queer person. I've always kind of dealt with that to a certain extent, but like never so outward and never so like, it's so blatant.
Yeah.
I mean, like the signs of what's happening, like the censorship, I can't even begin to list everything that's happening. It's just like terrifying to see where things are going and acknowledge the reality. And this song is so...
We're just like vibing in the soup of that.
Yeah,
because it is
actually
a vibey song.
What it is.
Yeah.
And then very demure, so cute in a brat summer voting booth. What?
It's a bit of absurdity because you're like, well,
It
what
is.
else is there
It's
to do
absurd.
than laugh?
Yeah, and then like the Kamala and Brat and Gen Z, and then very demure, so cute. Like all of these like cultural moments happening amongst all of this mess. it just feels like there's so much disconnect in everything that I see in the world today.
Yeah.
I'm like, how is this the world we're living in? This can't be real. Somebody wrote this.
So we get through the pre, and then we, the main thing is flowers are blooming in Antarctica. They say it's never been like that before. I'm kind of nervous, kind of cynical. Flowers are blooming in Antarctica. And it's beautiful. It's like,
that's the gist of it. Like,
it's
never been like, I'm so tired of living in unprecedented times.
Mm-hmm.
Since 2016, we've been in unprecedented times.
Right.
And now it's just like, I'm so used to it. I think we're all so used to it that we're just kind of like,
It's interesting. I was hearing that podcast, the We Can Do Hard Things episode, after the inauguration. They were talking and they were saying, like, it actually, like, socially, okay, so unprecedented, absolutely, in so many ways, but, like, especially climate, where we're like, this is a no point of no return situation.
Right.
But they were talking about how actually, like, we are in these 75-year cycles of people having, like, their parents having more rights than them, like, kind of thing. Or, like, they were talking about the first thing, one of the first
forward, 1 step back.
Yeah, where it was like Reconstruction, right after slavery was abolished. And then, they're like, well, no, Black people actually can't have any freedom, but we can't enforce that anymore in the way we were. So we're going to,
it's going to
Jim
look
Crow.
different. Yeah.
And so there's all of these, like, and like the feminist movement and women being able to have their own checking accounts and sign for loans by themselves and have the right to choose what your body does or does not procreate.
Yeah.
And, it's coming back. We're losing those rights. And so I think that was an interesting thing where they're like, it's actually right on time. Like, this kind of retaliation of progress is right on time.
Well, it's like the pendulum swings.
Yeah.
We just had a lot of progress in some ways, like before Trump, and then the pendulum swings, and it's just like,
it's painful to live in the swing backwards.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a really scary.
It feels so disheartening and heartbreaking because you're like, I don't know. Like, I really felt I was in this generation of, like, you can be what you want to be.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I think we're all like, oh no, you actually can't.
You can't.
You can if you have, like, these things that give you
if you're set up a certain way, if your life was kind of, yeah. And even acknowledging that the pendulum swings and we're, like, in this backward swing right now, and it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back kind of thing, that progress is slow, and knowing that it's not going to be like this forever. What I struggle with a lot of the time is, like, the damage that's going to be done in the meantime.
Well, and it does feel, it's not going to be like this forever, but it's going to be some version of it forever. Because, like, we cannot return. In a climate perspective, we can't return.
We can't. It's now too late.
Yeah. And it's like, obviously he's going to try and not leave office when it's time for him to leave office.
Oh, for sure.
So it just feels like, I really hope that there is a big wave of something different and progressive after this, but it does feel like
the beginning of the end ultimately, because however long it takes, like, we have reached that point in terms of climate where, I mean, look at the last year in LA, we had, like, record rains and mudslides and the streets were flooding and it was crazy. And then this year it's a record drought and the biggest wildfire that LA's ever seen. Like, natural disasters are getting so much worse, so much quicker than I think even climate scientists predicted.
Yeah.
That's a really scary thing to be like, okay, we've gone too far and we can't backpedal. Like, there's certain things that we can put into action where it kind of slows it, but
our whole society is built on consuming at such an unsustainable rate and building your money by any means necessary. It is just not built to think about, like, conservation and, like, having less. Like, maybe just, like, have less.
You'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I lost all of my belongings in a flood in New York. Everything I've ever owned. Me and Libby lost everything. And you know what? We were fine. Like, yes, it really sucked. And the biggest reason it sucked is because we moved to LA and we were going to sell all of our stuff and use that as, like, money to buy new furniture and all that stuff, whatever. That's why it sucked. But ultimately, I didn't really miss any of those belongings, like, other than, like, sentimental items, music equipment. Like, I didn't really miss that much. Yeah. And that was a big lesson for me and Libby both. We were like, oh, we don't need to live that kind of life. So we don't need to be collecting and collecting and collecting.
Yeah.
It's so wasteful.
Yeah. I'm like quite, I find that to be like quite a curse all the time. I mean, it's absolutely what I believe in, but like I can't actually have fun if something is feeling really wasteful, or like, you know, like I can't like go to a family Christmas where there's like pajamas that are going to be worn for one day for one picture. I'm just like,
you're like, why are we doing this? This is so unnecessary.
This is such a sweet memory. But like all I'm thinking about is like when those are going to go in the landfill.
For what?
And
for a picture?
I'm really fun at parties. I'll tell you what. But you know,
I'm the same way.
It's just tough because there's no, like, obviously people profit from that, right? So there's no like systems that are built to reward people for not doing that kind of thing.
Systems are only in place to reward you for, or not even reward, but we're taught that reward is being able to buy stuff.
Yeah.
Is like materialism. Like that's what our entire country is built on.
Sometimes I'm actually glad that what we make is not a physical good, because I would, if I were pumping out like plastic things every day with my business, even if it was like biodegradable, all this shit, it would still feel really bad to me because there's just like too much. Like I think we're just stuffed to the gills, and I'm just like, I struggle with it, with like not letting that ruin my entire perspective of an experience, because I'm like, just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you know, I have a plastic coffee cup. Like I'm not saying that I'm a saint in any way, but I see
none of us are,
all,
and also
hard.
There's so many systems set up. Like we can't live perfectly.
No.
Ever. Like not a single one of us is perfect. We do what we can where we can.
Yeah. And I think that sometimes that really weighs on me because I'm like, it's not enough. Like I need to do better. But it's like in La Medicina, like I wear the world, I hold the world between my shoulder blades, right? Like it's not actually my own, it's not only me that needs to be doing the the reusable shopping bags. Like it's you know what I mean?
That's the plight, the plight of the empath.
It is because I'm like, I can fix this by my action, and it's
you
like,
care
no.
so deeply, and then
you see other people not caring, and it really hurts.
It hurts when you're trying so hard to do so much to help.
But there's
the
so many reasons why people like.
But it's also expensive to be sustainable,
and people are
it's expensive to be vegan. It's
it's
like
very expensive,
not doable for a lot of people.
No, and when you're in survival and you're trying to feed your kids, and the options are like fast food that you can eat for $20 for a family of 5 versus like whatever else, where like a sweet green is a salad is $20.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like it's just the systems are failing us all, and it's not
even when you're trying to do your best.
I feel exhausted all the time with this mind of like, you know, and this is also an interesting thing is like my partner was raised in the Midwest in Indiana, where like that just isn't like where I was raised by. Like I'm an only child. I was raised by hippies in the mountains in Seattle, north of Seattle. So like where I grew up was totally off grid. Conservation was always a thing. It was like, if you are leaving a room and leaving a light on, you better. Like, what are you doing?
Really? Was that like was that a culture shock for you when you realized that the rest of the country wasn't like that?
Well, it's interesting because where I grew up was like very rural. So there were all these like hippie people in the foothills. And then in the valley below was like super, like it might as well have been the Midwest. Yeah. And so super religious, very white, very conservative. And so I went to school with all these people. So I remember like my mom... Like I wasn't allowed to have sugar cereal ever my whole life when I was like under their house. And I'd go to my friends' houses and I'd be like, oh my God, you get Lucky Charms. I'd be like, oh my God, you get like mac and cheese, like Kraft mac and cheese. It was wild. You know, it just was interesting. I think that it was always around, but like it just was not, I had it so drilled into my head. And for a lot of reasons, I am grateful for it. But like, the difference when Jordan and I compare our upbringings and like the culture around where we were raised, it's so different. And so I have like so much guilt about not buying not buying organic bread, but it's like it is costing me more money to do that, and I'm an artist. I don't have that.
We can't afford like. It's just this cycle that's like exhausting, and you try your best, but the systems aren't set up for us to try our best unless we're wealthy.
And they're set up to make us feel like we're failing all the time. And then that's marketed to us where it's like
that it's our fault.
You better be getting these supplements, or you better like you know, eating clean, all these things. And it's like, I know how to do that, but also like that is really expensive a lot of times. And
This
that
country's one big marketing ploy.
It is. And even like, oh my God, during the fires and all the like fundraising, I was trying to not shop at evil ass corporations to get the things we needed to survive climate change that they were creating.
Yeah.
I was like, how many like fire survival supplies are people buying from Amazon right now who have a massive carbon footprint?
Like the biggest.
They're like, oh no, a fire. Here's some marketed things to you.
Here's a 14% discount on N95s. Only on Amazon.
Again, really fun at parties.
It's a gross cycle. It's not giving any sort of fun cycle. That's
not
for
giving
sure.
demure.
It's not giving mindful or demure. And I'm just tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
So anyways, I think that you and I both are people that are deeply feeling, and we notice a lot of things. I have a massive amount of awareness of like emotional awareness of other people around me and like systems and these things that I hold it all, and it's really difficult to
put it down.
It's difficult to turn off my brain and be like, I'm going to willfully let that
the
part
willful
go.
Ignorance, and
because I can't do everything.
You can't do everything, but you try to because you're so. I'm the same way, and it's exhausting.
It is, and I think there's so much privilege that I have in even being able to think about those things, but it does make me insane.
Mm-hmm. But it's also like it's so messed up that we think it's all on us when the ones who are the biggest perpetrators of climate change are the 1%.
For sure.
They have the biggest carbon footprints of everybody.
That statistic of like the first 11 days of January, the billionaires used
their entire
carbon footprint for the
That's
year.
Insane to me. And we're over here being like, well, I have to clean out this bottle so I can recycle it so I don't ruin the planet because it's all my fault.
It's my
and the
fault.
Turtles and the
right, because it's so convenient of the corporations to put it on the consumers.
Right. And also like not to mention the fact that there are so many substitutes for like sustainable products that they won't invest in.
No. So anyways,
anyways, maybe back to the lyrics.
Yeah.
These tangents are so necessary though. Like this is what I mean. Like this is why I wanted to do this podcast, because I know we're not the only ones feeling this, and I know we're not the only ones having these conversations.
No, we aren't. And also at the same time, it's like we get one fucking beautiful life, and we have to make it as beautiful as we can and as meaningful as we can.
Yeah.
And like we just have to love each other and lean in and also do our best. And our best can totally vary day to day, and that's okay.
Meet yourself where you're at. Okay.
Moving on to verse 2.
It's the last Winter Olympics. Fly to Russia, get some sun. Winter's
Propaganda.
done.
Yeah, winter's over. It is a huge problem. Like I grew up skiing, and my family we're all like snow sport people, and like there are the amount of snow having to be made at these resorts and these like little, like I grew up at this like tiny little mountain, Mount Baker, that was like totally independently run, and it's like this. We had in '98, it was the world record snowfall, and like since then it's just been
downhill.
Yeah.
I wrote a song in college. I took a class called Pop Music and Protest, and my like final project was an EP focused on like climate change. And I had a song where it was like, remember when there was snow in December, they never thought they'd see the day, they never thought they'd have to pay. That was the beginning of my like, and then I didn't touch music like that for years because it was I didn't know how.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to incorporate it, but just remembering like my childhood, there was snow every year.
Yeah.
Every single year. And now we're lucky if we see snow. And I'm from Michigan.
That's crazy. It's not a snowy
cold
place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Propaganda, make it vintage, because free will was never fun.
Throw a nice filter on it. Make it easier than like having your own opinion.
Right.
Like, look, it's pretty and it's fun and it's easy. You don't have to think.
Okay, so we do
It's pretty on the nose.
Same pre-chorus, and
Bridge.
then we get into this fucking bridge.
The Flowers Are Blooming bridge is unhinged.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I had those lyrics sitting, like the first stanza, and I kind of like edited them. You were like working on production, and then you like, I think you pulled up the Google Doc again, and you were like, oh,
spooky.
Black market welfare, for-profit healthcare, mass market self-care, mass panic health scare.
Just off the top of the dome.
just a cheeky little, just some rhymes.
And what was crazy about that was we worked on, I remember that had been in there for a while, but I think we like in November we went back in.
Yeah.
And, you know, Luigi, who came and shot Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare. So that was wild. Also, just like a weird aside, my mom, during this time I was finishing this production, my mom was getting open heart surgery because she had a heart valve replacement. She's okay now. She's like in good recovery, but she was in the ICU when that had happened, that Luigi situation. And so hearing and I was there with her, and I was like finishing, like while she was napping, I was like working on this production, which is wild. I was just like, this is not what I pictured the end of my year to be like. But then, yeah, all the nurses and all like the healthcare workers at the hospital were like talking about it.
Oh, I'm sure. That's crazy.
Wild. And they were saying they don't even have good healthcare. They're nurses. They don't have healthcare, like good healthcare at all. They say it's bad. It's like worse than normal healthcare.
One of the biggest scams.
While I definitely would not say go and murder people, I do think like I kind of understand the sentiment behind it. I mean, I definitely understand.
Well, that's what was so crazy about the response to that is I feel like that united the left and the right in a way. United. Sorry.
United Healthcare.
That united the left and the right in a way that we haven't been in so long. We all hate this system.
Yeah.
That's a very universal thing. And I wish that there was more agreement between the left and the right because we're all trapped in this system together.
Well, we have so much more in common than we don't.
Yeah, for sure.
So much more.
I would say that I've had to cut off family members and like deal with all of that, and it's not fun, and like we have crazy differences. I think that I should be able to have rights. They don't.
No, sorry.
You I don't
can't.
get them. I'm just a gay little woman.
Just a gay little lady.
Gay little ladies don't get rights.
But I want them so bad.
I want them. Yeah. So it's like not to excuse all of those things happening, not to be like, guys, put aside our differences, because we are kind of past that now.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
The division is so extreme. But I wish that it didn't get this far. I wish that we had been able to like recognize that it isn't.
Yeah, we're all getting fucked by the same corporations.
Yeah. The difference is some of us support them and some of us support each other.
Right. Yeah. I just don't understand how you can be like, yeah, for sure. Like this is good. I support these people. I support these 10 people.
This feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been able to understand it. And in my opinion, we're past the point of sitting down and talking about it.
For sure. Because like if you voted for him, you don't acknowledge our existence. You don't acknowledge our partner's existence.
Mm-hmm.
You don't acknowledge immigrants who literally keep this entire country running and feeding us all.
And we are fundamentally different people. And I can never make excuses for the way that those people view other people.
Yeah.
I will never make an excuse for that. I can never make the space for that. I'll never understand it.
Because even that, it's so lazy too, that perspective of like, well, I don't have any problem with gay people, but like,
why do you have to rub it in my face?
Yeah, or even if it's like less bad than that, they're just like the fact that you are going to vote for something that's better for you think, over somebody's like literal right to exist is that says like even if you don't have anything wrong like in your mind with gay marriage, it's like, yeah, but you still voted against it, so you actually do.
Yeah. So you're willing to sacrifice people's bodily autonomy, people's entire livelihoods because of whatever your stupid little reason is. Like those are not valid to me, and not being able to afford your groceries is not an excuse. I can't afford my groceries either. You have rights though.
Yeah, for sure. Anyways.
I knew this one was going to spark a big old discussion.
Yeah. The other half of this bridge is thrown in the snake pit, strangers with hatred, the truth's what you make it, your own echo chamber, which is l'internet.
Recognizing that we're all just kind of, every time I yell about something, the only people who are hearing it are people who view the same.
Yeah, totally.
Have the same viewpoint.
Totally.
And we build our own algorithms to an extent.
Everyone's internet looks really different.
Mm-hmm. The division is just so extreme.
Yeah.
And it does feel like being thrown in a snake pit a little bit. Like everybody just wants to fight all the time.
Yeah. Well, you get a lot of like,
oh my God,
hate comments.
I don't even read my comments anymore.
Yeah. Smart.
Except I have been reading some of the rage ones because they're funny, which we'll get into in the next episode. But I had to like a couple years ago, I just stopped reading my comments.
Yeah,
I got
fair.
so much hatred just for being like out, being in a happy relationship with my partner.
Yeah, they really don't love that.
Yeah, they really don't love that. And I just got to a point where I was like, I'm going to post my stuff and that's going to be it. And I'm not going to think about it after that. And people get in huge fights in my comments. I don't even see them.
Just like,
I'll like
I
start
think-
reading it and then I'm like, I can't.
Like, this
And
is
then
a
we'll just
mess.
stop. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, you guys have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is definitely the feeling of strangers with hatred,
Mm-hmm.
snake pit. Just like say that shit to somebody's face. You won't.
Yep.
Well, and then the back half of this song goes off.
Production wise, it goes,
crazy. Like my girlfriend Jordan played drums on I think all of these songs, and
An icon.
she's legendary. And she
truly.
like, I think we worked with Dan, and he had the idea to like make this breakbeat outro.
I initially was like, I knew that this was going to come before Rage, and Rage is such a vibe
We needed
shift.
something like.
So I was like, it needs to go somewhere else. And then we started like experimenting with it. You started coming up with the really like crunchy sounds and like making it kind of build an energy in that way and like shift into like the Rage
then
energy.
it was like we were doing like dunku, 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 dunku,
Yeah.
kick, like the kick really accelerated, and then I think really it was like, why don't we make like a double time?
Yeah. And then we went in with Dan and
Yeah.
he was like, let's like do a crazy like kind of
And he
breakbeat
had
thing.
that crazy Korg synth thing.
Yeah.
That was just like the insane risers at the end.
Mm-hmm.
We made I think like a robot-y man voice say flowers are blooming in Antarctica.
I used TikTok like voice to text.
Yeah, that's it.
To just say flowers are blooming in Antarctica. Like
It's
tucked it in
dope.
there.
I love
Yeah.
it. And then I like bit crushed it and like downsampled it, and it was just like flowers are blooming in Antarctica.
It's so like crunchy.
Yeah,
and just,
it
like,
felt really good. It felt good to go in on that part.
Yeah.
And just really like.
And that's the thing too, is like sonically it feels like the release, like this entire song is kind of a dissociation to an extent
Into the Rage.
into the Rage, and that's like the transition of like the overwhelm and being like, oh my god, what the fuck.
Yeah, like watching glaciers crumble, watching like all of it just literally melt down.
Like the panic and the stress and the chaos and like kind of giving into that, and then it shuts down. It's like a hard cut, and then it's like Rage. La 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 la.
Yep.
Which I just love that. I love that like production.
Totally. And it was such a nice way to be like, yeah, I think the track listing became very clear to us, where it was like,
For sure.
La Medicina, Flowers Are Blooming, Rage.
Yep.
Go it goes.
Yep. Absolutely. It was really fun working on this entire thing with you because you are similar to me where it's like background vocals.
Oh,
Stacks. We
All
spent
day.
so much time. We spent days doing stacks.
Yeah.
And like
I
that's
love-
such a huge element
I love
to this.
a background vocal arrangement. I mean, that's really how I even came into music, because I'm a singer, and I like the way I started singing even was listening to honestly Canadian radio, because I was so close to Canada growing up, and like singing backgrounds. And that was like, I heard all of those things. I was like, wow, it's such a cool way to create this like sculpted world of storytelling with lyrics. And I don't know, I think the human voice is just such a powerful instrument. And it took me a while, because I went to music school, and like there was so much gendered bullshit about like, if you're only a singer, then like you're not a real musician, like you're a girl, so you don't know production,
You're
all
a
this
girl,
shit.
you're a singer.
And
Don't
it's like,
try the
oh
other
hi,
stuff.
sorry, actually it's like the human voice is like the first instrument. Get over it.
Yeah.
And I think that really leaning into that as my strength as a producer is like, it makes working with artists and singers feel so special, because I think that there's a lot of times when a singer goes into a session and they don't like have that that relationship in a producer. And so it's so fun for me to like be working with someone like you, who's like so strong with singing and harmonies, and having that choral, obviously like choir nerd background.
Oh yeah.
Just like going and building that together is so cool.
It's
And
so fun.
yeah.
I'm very tight with like stacks, like specific like lyrical stacks, and like you have this really cool like in La Medicina of like the ooh, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like
And,
using the voice as an instrument, you know, like
yeah,
finding ways to, even if you're not using lyrics, like really create swells and like movement
which was so fun.
and contrast in songs.
Yeah, that was really really fun.
So
I could nerd out about that stuff all day.
So yeah, then we get really ragey, and then we go into rage. Oh, here's Scrapyard. I do this
Oh
thing.
my god.
My friend Tori Wolf is this incredible artist, and I've written with them recently, and we started writing, and they were like, they wrote Scrapyard at the bottom of a lyric doc, and
I
I was
do
like,
that
"What
all
is
the
a
time now.
scrapyard?" And they were like, "It's
You guys,
leftover
it's where
things.
the lyrics go to die. You guys, in a Google sheet from a songwriting session, there are like pages
So
and pages
many.
and pages of just like ideas that don't make the cut. Like internet snake pit, red carpet makeshift.
Apocalyptics." There it is.
There it is.
Trauma bond.
Never thought myself a cynic. I just take things as they come. Like we wrote so many lyrics that just we ended up being like, nope, we can beat it. Mass destruction stocks are up. Activism
love
stocks
it.
are up.
But it's cool because you can see where we got to.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
The
we had
winds
the
blew a
Matrix.
seed under the ice sheet. A robot brought me DoorDash. Do I like leave a tip?
Wait, this is crazy.
I remember that because I had like a little, okay, thank you.
Oh yeah, because we were talking about like the disconnect of things and like, is it just the wine or do I need to move home to take care of my mother? Oh my God. Do I want to eat the rich or like eat with the rich? AI showed me how I'll look in 50 years, but will we still exist in 50 years? These are just like thoughts because we were like, let's talk about like dissonance. Oh wait, go up a little bit. Wow.
Yeah. I don't know why royal family is in there, but
I don't either. I don't know. We spent so much time on this. We would just like go and sit outside and be like, do you have a thought?
I have a thought, write it. Yeah. So I think that this production was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It really
was a beast.
it was a beast. The mix was a beast, and
Everything in this one was a
Yeah.
monster.
yeah.
to
But I'm so
tackle.
glad we got it to where we did at the end because it like also like Thomas who mixed it. I was talking to him and I was like, let's like downsample it and like bit crush it at the end. Let's just make it feel like
Really,
really hard stop to like
yeah.
almost like Thanos snapping.
Yes, I love that.
I was
to
like,
like silence.
Give us a
And then the only thing that you have to hold on to is the beginning of Rage, which I
Yeah.
just love that like contrast there.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Should we get into Rage?
We should get into Rage.
Okay, let's do it.